Okay.
Progress.
Okay.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Grayson. I'm a senior at Homestead, and we just wanted to say thank you so much for your help with homecoming. There really was an amazing turnout, and everyone had so much fun. It was definitely one of the better homecomings we've had in the past. Especially thank you for your help with the parade and decorating the gyms and handing out tickets. We really appreciated that. Currently, Student Council is preparing for our Halloween trail tomorrow evening. And we're obviously very excited for this because, it's a district-based event and, we're involving the elementary school kids. So that'll be lots of fun. And the toy drive is our next event. And we would definitely love your help with the monetary donations, as I know that has been a thing the past couple of years. But yeah, that's what we're up to right now. And once again, thank you so much for your help with homecoming.
Great. Thank you.
I'm glad it worked out well for everyone. You had a good time.
Yeah. All right. We have the faculty liaison report. Melissa Blanick, would you like to give your report?
Yep, that's me. Good to see everybody. Melissa Blanick here. Nice job, Grayson. Just to piggyback off on Grayson, students did an amazing job all throughout homecoming week. Teachers dressed up one day too. I think Mr. Ebert was alluding to that at our last meeting. It was a secret at that point. We were minions. Maybe you saw the picture on social media and he was Gru. Did I get that right, Mr. Ebert? I'm not as cool as I once was. All right. I saw Grayson and others dressing up. So it was really fun and they did a great job facilitating the assembly and other events. We had not beyond homecoming, we had conferences last week, Thursday, for our first time doing that hybrid format. Thanks again on behalf of the staff for the delicious meal. People were raving about that down the hallways, and it made for some happy teachers. So thanks, we always appreciate that. From the staff perspective, it was Meet the Teacher. We've used that before last year and it went pretty smoothly. Most teachers that I've had a chance to talk to seemed like they had most of their online portion like completely filled, or if not completely near filled. So that was a really nice way to connect with parents. And then we had a tiny gap of time to be able to go down to the field house and actually get to see parents in person for the first time in a couple of years beyond our curriculum night. So that was really great. Just, that energy to really with parents. It was also, it'll be interesting to hear the parents' perspective, but it seemed like people didn't have to stand in lines as much. It didn't feel as crowded. So they kind of knew like, here's my appointment time. And then this teacher is available for me with still some flexibility that if people showed up that day, they could still see what was available and sign up for the slot. So from what I experienced, it seemed to work well kind of for all groups, but I'm sure we'll hear more about that moving forward. But it was a nice turnout. We had an in-service on Friday, and this past Friday. So we focused on reading comprehension and getting our students to be better, more active readers. We looked through some ACT data and actually got to see some of our peers and what they do in their classroom, just so we can utilize some of those highly effective strategies for our students and kind of have that unique goal in mind. What else? AP registration forms are due tomorrow. We've been telling students to get those into the counseling office. I know Mr. Ebert, yep, Grayson's saying, yes, I know. So they have a big stack of those. And I think we're on our way with getting those turned in. The mini grants, Julie sent me the mini grant application, and I've been reminding staff about the opportunity to be able to fill those out. She sent out a message with Nancy that was sent out to all faculty and staff, and I know she's going to send another one out in a couple days, and I've been reminding people every time I see them. They're like, hey, you want to hear about some faculty grant opportunities? And it sounds like people are really excited and grateful for that opportunity. Beyond that, we are going to be approaching day 40, where we'll have some additional progress reports in, and I think that is my update.
Fantastic.
All right.
Very,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ebert, are you ready for your report?
I am, thanks. But after Grayson and Melissa, I'm not sure there's much left to share. They both covered.
stole your thunder, did they?
They've got all the good things covered already. I just want to reiterate the homecoming week stuff, and I'm looking at Grayson here because we had over 1,000 kids at the dance on Saturday night, which was an incredible amount. I remember being in this group last year saying we had over 900 kids at the dance, our biggest in years. Well, we upped that by 100 this year, right? So really proud of the work that Grayson and her classmates did. We forget about all of the planning that goes into this with Grayson and the student council and their advisors. And I was talking with Grayson ahead of the homecoming while they were planning, maybe a week or two in advance, probably 2 weeks in advance. And she was asking me about some games and some other stuff. And I was just kind of describing like how we have it in the gym, Grayson. And her response to me was like, I haven't been to a homecoming in the gym, right? Like, so just thinking about our time at Homestead, Grayson's time as a senior at Homestead, and having a quote unquote Homestead normal homecoming was a really neat experience. I think she had fun. She was dressed appropriately that night in her costume that matched the theme, along with some other seniors. And I think everybody had a really good time. So that was a lot of fun that week. I will reiterate what Melissa said about the meal. Certainly it is fantastic to treat our teachers. Everybody appreciates it. The meals are fantastic. You guys work really hard to make that happen. And it's on a night when people really don't have time to cook when they get home, right? Or don't want to. It's late. Don't have time to run out and get food. It's just the way that the conferences are set up. So it's perfect. We really, really, truly appreciate that partnership. I can provide a little bit of statistics when it comes to the Meet the Teacher app or program. We really do like Meet the Teacher. I think we will continue to use it for booking conferences. Back in spring, the first time we did it, we had 37% of families sign up for conferences. We had 45 this time. Have nothing to compare that to. We haven't collected data like this in the past. It really shares with us a lot of different data about who's signing up and what times and what format, if it's virtual or in person. So we got some good understanding there a little bit. I'll second again what Melissa said about the flow of people coming in and out of the gym. Some of us who've been around a while know and remember the old days of standing and waiting in line. We were able to avoid that. Would love your feedback, whether it's on this call or spending some time gathering feedback from people, in your roles as members of the PTSO to share back with me. Always looking to get better at everything we do, and that includes parent-teacher conferences. We've been doing all sorts of different things over the last 3 years, and we'll continue to do so if it means that we can get the most people we can at our parent-teacher conferences. They're too important. So we want to continue to make this as customer-friendly as possible so that our teachers and our parents can work together to support our kids. So again, thank you for everybody's preparation for conferences. You got to sign up in advance, right? And then following through. Fall testing is all done now. Melissa talked a minute ago about looking at some ACT data. Actually, it was our pre-ACT data that the juniors took back in September, on September 28th. The part of the purpose I had explained also in a email communication about taking the pre-ACT was that we would be getting those scores back, individual analyses for students and group analysis, and also be able to look at some of the test questions and use those to our advantage in terms of our designing of pedagogy around the building. And we began that process on the 14th in our faculty learning. So I think that was a really worthwhile day, and our teachers have some things to think about moving forward in those classes. Our juniors who did take the pre-ACT, their results are printed and in. They will be getting a message soon from me telling them they can pick their tests up or their results up, I should say, in the counseling office. Along with that, we'll have a list of resources that kids and families can be thinking about for ACT prep. So that's coming. We also had the senior ACT the other day. A number of seniors decided to take the ACT again. We decided to give one more chance, an opportunity for a last chance prior to all of those applications being sent in. So I thought that was a successful day as well. That was Tuesday of this past week. Thinking ahead, end of trimester is coming. Melissa talked about day 40 coming up. We have 54, 55 days in the trimester. And so we will be wrapping up, coming up. In the past, we've set some deadlines for homework when it needs to be completed. For the last day of quizzes and tests, and as to when those needed to be completed, 4 days out for tests, 2 days out for having grade books completed, so that students and families know exactly where they sit heading into the final exams. Students who are eligible to exempt can exempt because they know where they sit with a class. So we'll continue that. Look for a communication from me in the coming weeks leading up to final exams. Friday, November 18th would be the day that students will have to declare for exam exemptions. And then our tests will be Monday, November 21st and Tuesday, November 22nd. We'll keep a similar schedule to what we've done in the past. We'll be off at noon on Tuesday and then off school on Wednesday leading into the Thanksgiving break. Looking forward to, not for our trimester to fly by, but looking forward to seeing the trimester completed in the next month. The fall play is this weekend. I know the kids have been working hard in Tech Week this week to prepare. The play is Alice in Wonderland. Sounds great. I'm excited to go myself. It's perfect for all ages. It'll be held Friday night and Saturday night at 7, as well as Sunday at 1. So come on over to the PAC to watch the fall play, Alice in Wonderland, and bring somebody else with you to support our kids in the play. Our weekend is going to be pretty busy. We got an away football playoff game tomorrow night at Vincent High School. Cross countries at their sectional meet at Arrowhead High School tomorrow afternoon. On Saturday, soccer hosts a level 2 playoff game. Girls volleyball is actually playing tonight against Menominee Falls. Right now, boys volleyball plays in regional play tomorrow night at Hamilton. Swim team has a few more weeks, but they'll be wrapping up into the playoffs as well. I love the fall season. It's I think the best time of the year when it comes to some of our co-curriculars, everything I just mentioned there. Deadline for registering AP exams. We just talked about that a little while ago, so I'm not sure I have anything else to add. If there are questions between now and tomorrow, Jackie Connolly, our AP coordinator, is able to answer those questions, or I'm live and in person right here, so I can probably help as well. But we do want to get those things in. We do want students to be taking those tests. That's part of the purpose of being in the courses. We've had a great start to the school year. Pretty busy today. As always. Exceptionally busy today. We had friends from Downjust Bay Elementary School over as they had some issues going on in their building. So we got to host the 500 or so kids from Downjust Bay this afternoon, I should say. I enjoyed greeting them. Be happy to stick around for questions. But I'm essentially 2 months into the school year. I'd like to say we're off to a really great start.
Thank you so much.
Can I just do one thing about conferences?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, just the one glitch that I found was that if a teacher was only going to be online, the system did not allow you to sign up for both. Because I wanted to go in person, but one particular teacher was only going to be online. So I had to email her separately, and it was kind of like a glitchy thing, but she took care of it and she was amazing. But I guess that's something to think about for next time, just for the system in general. And it wasn't clear that I couldn't sign up for her on in person.
I see.
So, and it's
Yeah.
because she's part-time. So
Yeah,
I,
so-
you know,
I appreciate that, Rachel. Thank you.
Mhm.
Some of our teachers, you've probably noticed it's a little wonky about what their times are, and it's simply based on what their contract is, right? We keep them there for a certain amount of time. And with the hybrid format, that certainly impacted whether or not they may have been available for in-person or online. It is something I think we want to think through. We wanted to try the hybrid format this time. The feedback so far has been good for that. I do appreciate you saying that she worked with you to ensure that you got the chance to speak. That's an expectation, right? If somebody wants to talk.
no,
to
she was completely amazing. And I did like the hybrid form.
Good.
And it still was a little stressful, but that's, you
Yeah.
know, that's on the parents to figure out how to make that work. You know, whatever, we can figure it out. But I thought it was great, and I really appreciated being able to go in person.
Thank you. Yep.
I did all mine online, and it was so easy to just like say, these are all the teachers I want to talk to. And it set it all up for me. And I basically went back to back to back. And it was just, I mean, it was the easiest thing in the world versus trying to schedule all of the individual appointments. So I found it very helpful.
Julie, you let it self-populate for you?
I did.
Okay.
It worked out perfectly.
Yeah. Yep.
Wonderful. Does anyone have any other questions for our guests, Grayson, Melissa, or Eric? Because otherwise we can let them go, give them a little bit more of their evening back. They're being so generous with their time tonight. So while we have them here, if you have any questions for them, either raise your hand, throw something in the chat, speak up. Yeah. Okay.
Nothing in the chat.
Well, thank you all for your reports, your updates. Very helpful. Great to get a pulse of what's going on in the school. I didn't know you were GRU. I'm gonna have to go look for some social media photos, I think, somewhere. But thank you all for your time and energy and your support.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Yes, thank you.
you.
Bye.
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 Okay, so now we're gonna get on with the our officer reports and the business part of the meeting. The first one is the approval of the September minutes. Our secretary, Becky Kanye, could not make it. She had a work event tonight. So I will go ahead and start that motion. The September minutes were circulated in the latest edition of Short Kilts. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
So I just have one
Yeah.
little typo in there under the voices. It said sports and it should have said support. And I probably should have emailed her ahead of time. I just looked at it earlier today and I never followed up on it. It's been a crazy day. But that was the only thing. It's really not that big a deal. It's not going to throw too many people off.
Right, and so we want to amend in there, instead of saying sports, we say supports and voices report.
Yeah, support.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thanks. And then I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, great.
Well,
Thank you.
that's very nice of you, thank you.
If everybody else is okay.
We will go ahead and make those corrections. Is there a second? Okay, Jamie. So it has been moved and seconded to approve the September meeting minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye, raise your hand. Okay.
Or raise
all
your
right.
virtual hand if you have the virtual hand, you can do that too, please.
Those opposed? Okay, wonderful. The September meeting minutes have been approved. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to treasurer's report. Our treasurer, Jamie O'Connor, would you like to go ahead and give your report?
Sure. As of September 30th, we have $63,716.89 in our bank account. During the month of September, we incurred expenses for homecoming and the back to school breakfast. We took in money for membership, Highlander Fund, staff appreciation, and the senior dinner or conference dinners. We have noticed though that our membership, Highlander Fund, and staff appreciation donations have been down over prior years. So if you've not yet joined the PTO or contributed, please do so. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
And those of you who have that work for companies or spouses work for companies that do matching donations, that's also a great way to increase the giving in total to the Highlander Fund or staff appreciation.
Yep, just processed one today.
Did you know?
Don't we cut off short kilts for people that haven't joined pretty soon? Or has that already happened?
Yes.
So maybe that's a good reminder to like put out at some point before it happens.
The last
Um,
short was that short kilts, and there was also a
It was,
reminder.
okay. I was looking at some other stuff, so I joined, so I didn't need that.
I'm glad that you joined.
Right.
You would have gotten a call, Rachel.
Great.
And Lee, you do send out a communication that, for the people that didn't sign up for the PTO, you send them a reminder. Like are you missing short kilts? Email,
Yeah,
right?
so last week we cut off short kilts. So this Tuesday was the first short kilts that only went to members. And there will be an email going out next week to all the people who haven't joined saying, hey, are you missing short kilts? Join up. So hopefully we'll get a few more that way.
Do we have any sort of statistic as to how many parents join versus don't join? I'm just curious.
We can dig it up in MTK.
No, you don't need to dig it up. I'm just wondering if there's something that we need to do to kind of drum up business a little bit more. But if it's like 50%, if it's like 50% or more, then I think we're in a good place. Because don't you think it should at least be 50 to 60%?
Yeah, I don't know what
Probably
our
isn't, but
benchmark
you know.
is. Rachel, I don't know what our benchmark would be, but I think with virtual registration or online registration, that makes it a little hard for us to market ourselves day of. I think with COVID, we had a mix where at first we didn't have a very strong membership, but then our membership got really, really strong really fast because there was just so much need for like information and everybody was hungry to know.
And now everybody's kind of gone back to
I think there's
their old habits.
Yeah, but as much as we can all do to encourage our friends to join the PTSO because of all the wonderful benefits and supporting the school.
Good idea.
Great. Okay, so moving on to the president's report, we just wanted to give a big thank you to the volunteers who supported homecoming. And if you haven't already, please, as we were talking about, donate to the Highlander Fund. It really is kind of like our fundraiser, and it helps all of our programming, our merit awards or not merit, mini grants and things like that. So, thank you to all of those who've already signed up to be committee chairs. So we really just have the Leave a Legacy. And the Leave a Legacy is, we've talked about it before. It's the senior class that does a nice big project. The last year's class they're going to be the garage doors, the glass garage doors at the cafeteria. So I think that is kind of progressing. And then there's been other wonderful past projects with the courtyard and things like that. So we really do need a chair for that. It could be a senior parent, or it could be somebody who kind of works with senior parents. It doesn't have to be, because I know that Ellen Lee did it for years. So we, pass the word. And then also advertising sponsorship. We do have sponsors in short kilts. And so they just kind of need to be contacted and kind of re-upped. And if you, know of anybody else who would want to sponsor, typically they're like ACT prep and things like that, that kind of, work with
tutoring
students, tutoring services. So, all right, great. All right. And then next up, Jamie again with the area council report.
Okay, so Matt Joint spoke. He talked about the calendar committee, which is going to kick off shortly. Spring break is going to be a hot topic because the committee has tried to ensure consistency across other Wisconsin school districts particularly the ones in our area. In the past, the conclusion was the last week of March would be used unless Easter was in the first week of April or at the end of March. And this is going to come into play in 2024. An email was sent to other surrounding school districts and the differences abound already. Therefore, this will be a big decision for the calendar committee this year. The Wisconsin DPI released a statewide assessment data for the forward exam and ACT on September 28th. The average ACT composite score was 22.8, which was the highest ACT composite score in Ozaukee County and the second highest in the North Shore of Milwaukee. 64.4 students who took the forward exam were proficient in advanced in ELA, and the 66.1% for math. The forward exam students increased performance in almost every grade level, nearing pre-COVID results. And the school report cards are scheduled for release at the end of November. The September Family Survey provided the highest net promoter score in 3 years. And this is, would you recommend the district to family and friends? So that was good. He also talked about communication, such as Ask MTSD. It lets you answer a series of questions. Then your message is distributed to the best person to respond. And there's also a who to contact button on the top of the website that will help you navigate the various departments so you can better determine who might be able to assist. Shelley Burns spoke for the school board. She had talked about the key work of school boards. There's 5 components: vision, accountability, policy, community leadership, and governance relations. And it's important to have all 5 of those things to have a high functioning school system and high student achievement. She talks about the office hours that took place on October 6th. There were 3 people there. Topics discussed were the TAG program, more rigor on the on-level courses, appreciation of office hours, appreciation of hybrid meetings, wanted policy development and review knowledge, and wanted more detail in elementary school academic results communicated to parents. There are 2 board seats that are going to be up for election in April. Incumbents must sign up by December 23rd at 5 p.m. and anyone else interested in running must sign up by January 3rd at 5 p.m. We had a guest speaker, the Director of Recreation, Mike Schomer, and Ray Stelter, who is the Recreation Supervisor. They talked about all of the wonderful upcoming events and how successful we have been in increasing enrollment in programs. The fund balance that was down to $6,000 with the pandemic in 2020, and it's back up to $124,000 now. The summer of 2022 saw the highest enrollment in 15 years, 4,500 registrations, and the first day the book came out brought in $45,000. They're coming up with some new programs such as archery, freezer meal workshop, a lot of other things in there too. I will let Danny talk about MTEF. And we also discussed the SOAR report for the Homestead PTSO. That's all I have.
Anyone have any questions about area council? Anyone want to volunteer for Lead a Legacy or advertising sponsorship? Just thought I'd put it out there. Raise your hand. All right.
All right, moving on. Community reports. Lee, would you like to give a report regarding short kills?
I pretty much already said everything.
Okay.
Like I said, this week was the first short kilts that only went to members. So I'm sure everyone probably on this call is already a member. But if you're not, please join. And I just want to put in a plug for finding that sponsorship chair, because that is an important thing that we do with short kilts is we put these sponsor ads into short kilts. So it's really just kind of organizing it and contacting these potential sponsors and sort of figuring out what weeks they want to run their ads and stuff. It would be a huge help. That's it.
Okay. All right, staff appreciation, Linda. Sounds like conferences went really well. Conference meals.
Yes, it's good to hear because once we deliver and walk out, we don't really hear anything. So that's good to hear.
What did we feed them? What was the meal?
Yep. I'll tell you. Just first of all, thanks for the senior class for sponsoring it, because I guess they were in charge of donating the money. So thanks to them. I worked with Jody Miller and Rachel Marks, and we served soup and sandwich and some fruit and nice from Apple Spice. So it was my first dealings with them and Doug, and it worked out fabulous. He was right on target with amounts and everything. It worked great. I don't know who knows what, but we also give snacks and treats out for the long duration of their day. And apparently back in the day, it used to be a cart that used to go around. Okay. And then when COVID hit, then I guess Wendy started setting it up into the hub area. The very last one last year, Wendy and I were like, you know what, this is not working. They weren't making it out there. They were like, oh gosh, we didn't have enough time. So we ended up putting little brown bags right on another table with all of the treats. They went through the line to get their food. They filled their little brown bag with all their treats and off they went. And they were just ecstatic. They were like, this is perfect. They knew that they could come back if they wanted to, but that seems to work. So I'm not going to change that unless I hear different, but I think everyone really liked that. Up next is December, which would be sweet treats. And that's usually a few days before winter break. So I'll work with Nancy Kress and figure out the date on that. And I know, I think Lee's got it down pat as far as sending out the volunteer requests, because we will be asking for homemade treats and so forth. And other than that, I think we're off to a pretty good start. Thanks to Jody Jen wasn't available, but she helped plan, and then Jody and Rachel were on site with me. So I appreciate that.
And then Linda, would it help for you to have access to, I guess, the signups to know who has open, or do you?
I don't, if that's an easy task to do, maybe so, because I know that there are things as we start figuring budget and where the money is going. I know Jamie and you and I have been talking about, as far as do we have enough? If we need to ask for volunteers to do like beverages where that's not normally something that we ask for, if we could have that on the membership, and I could just kind of glance at it and say, okay, oh, nobody claimed water, I know I have to pick that up, because I don't want to certainly show up there and not know who's bringing what.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whatever works. Whatever.
Yeah,
works.
signups for when we're doing sweet treats might be something that would be really helpful. Yeah.
Wendy keeps telling me, assures me over and over, oh my gosh, people just volunteer. I've heard that before. or they've signed up and oosh, they forgot, if I'm a few dozen short of sweet treats, no biggie. But if I'm expecting somebody to bring 2 cases of water and I don't have it, I don't want to run into that.
Yeah.
But again, whatever works.
I do think for sweet treats that people really like to bake, and
That's
they
great.
know it's coming, so then they can plan for it.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
I think we'll get plenty.
I do too.
So.
I do too. So, it's just one of those things. There's some things coming up that maybe I just hate to keep saying, oh, Lee, are we okay on this? Or, oh, Jamie, are we okay on this? And, if it's easier for me to just be able to log in and look myself, then so be it. Otherwise, if you don't mind answering the questions, that's fine too. So.
Well, thank you for leading that, and to Jody and who else was there?
And Rachel.
And Rachel, thank you all for your work. Really appreciate it. Appreciate our appreciation committee.
It's funny because the teachers are like, oh my gosh, thank you. And I'm like, but we're thanking you. So
Yeah.
It's kind of like everybody's just thanking everyone, but it works out nice. A good group of staff for sure.
All right, great. So again, Becky Kanye wasn't able to attend tonight. She was going to give a little booster update. Anybody else involved in booster like to give an update?
I'm
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You are. So Julie's on the board. So and if Julie and I keep looking off screen, we talked about at the coffee, but not here. We're together.
She's
tonight
right
doing
there.
this. Yes, we're right here. So we just thought it would be fun because we're co-hosting. That we would just do it together.
getting attacked by kittens.
Yes.
Boosters, just encouraging people, if you haven't yet, you can still become a member. It pays for itself. If you become a member, you can get the little punch cards to get into sports events, and it's good throughout the entire school year. So it basically pays for itself. Great to support our team. We would rather, personally, we would rather for people to use those little punch cards and use our booster membership, because then the money for the tickets actually come to the boosters and not just general education or general sports. I don't know where it goes otherwise, but it doesn't go to the boosters. But they're an essential part of fundraising and supporting all of our athletic endeavors. I just got a tour of, we did a huge fundraising campaign a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, I guess, to help support the renovation and addition of a new weight room. And so I was fortunate to be the one to write the check for that, even though I had nothing to do with the fundraising. And Matt Joint gave me a tour, and I'm like, I'm an imposter here because I did not have anything to do with it. So in any event, it was kind of cool to see what the fundraising, what those dollars can do when it's put to work. So just encourage everyone to participate, become a member. That would be fantastic. We support each other's organizations throughout the year. And Eric did a nice job of highlighting all of the fantastic, post-season events that we're still involved with. So continue to support our teams.
Great. All right, moving on to Danny. Do you have a MTEF report for us?
I do. Thanks for having me.
Wow.
So we've got our Trick or Trot Run Walk coming up here on Sunday, October 30th. It's at 1 p.m. at Homestead. We've got some fun pre-race activities with the all-school mascot race, kind of like the racing sausages, and also with our kids lap for our littlest ones. So that should be really fun. There's still time to sign up for the run or the walk. If timing's a little bit challenging for people, we've added sort of a shorter loop in there so people can, it's a 1.3 mile. I know we just found out Thiensville, I think trick or treats at 3. So, if people have to ditch out for trick or treat, or you've got other plans, or little kids, or even myself who couldn't run to the mailbox, my daughter's in cross country. I would prefer to do that 1.3 mile loop. So everyone can certainly, there's something for everybody there. The 29th is the last day for people to register to get our swag bag that has all of our goodies from our sponsors. There's some really cool stuff in there. So gather friends, family, sporting teams, anything like that, and come join us. Also, a couple of volunteer opportunities left for our high school students. We will be on hand to sign for merit hours. Please have your kids take a look on the sign-up sheet. I know that is out, or the registration for volunteers, Lee put on short kilts, so it is on there. We have our roundup going on for 11 more days at the Pig in Mequon. So that's our full month of roundup dollars. Everything goes to MTF. I was just there today, and the nice person said roundup for the Mequon Thiensville School District, and I was gonna say something, and I'm like, that's where it goes anyways. So it goes, obviously 100% of those funds go to our grants for all of our schools. So roundup when you're at the Pig. We have our annual giving campaign that will be coming out. Packets are going to be sent to all past donors and all MTSD families the first or the second week in November, after all the election materials, get to your garbage cans. So don't pitch ours. It's really important. We rely on the community support to help us fund grants. It's our easiest way to raise funds and raise money for our grants. We were down the past few years in our giving campaign. So if you see that in there, it's really important. It's our easiest way, again, for us to raise funds for grants for our kids. As well as we'll be following up couple weeks later with an all 53092-097 postcard mailer, just as kind of a little reminder, or people that aren't on those lists, MTSD families or past donors will get something as well from MTF. So look forward to that. And then lastly, we are excited. You guys are the first to hear it here. Besides out of our board meeting, we are excited to be announcing our Off to the Races event is going to be back this year, or actually next year, May 6th, 2023. We are going to combine it a little bit. And instead of doing a tartan bash this year, unfortunately, it's just not in the cards with costs for food and venues and just high ticket prices. We feel like it's just not the way to go. So we're really successful with our Off to the Races event. We raised $65,000 with only 4 weeks of planning last year. So we're excited to bring it back, but we will have a sit-down dinner with this event. So it will be at Shelley's again. It's going to be our Off to the Races Derby Bash. So hope to see everybody there. We'll start with our committee. We have a chair for it already. So we'll start with our committee at the end of January and get going. So that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of good things going on there.
Yes.
All right, Nicole, we have Nicole Hartman for Voices. Would you like to give your?
Hi, thanks for having me. So I've been involved with Voices for 5 years, going on 6 years this year. It's a collaborative group of parents and MTSD staff that provide support and information to our district families who have students with special needs. We host a variety of parent meetings, including outings and social events. We have 6 events this year that we have on the schedule. I'm still waiting for Michael Moore, and we work closely with Michael to approve the final. There's one date on there that we still are waiting on. And hopefully then I can get it to Lee to include in the short kilts. I did go to the area council meeting and was able to meet all of the PTO presidents. So that was nice. They all offered to include it in their electronic communications as well. So we serve individuals. Anybody is welcome to join any of our Voices events. The flyer will automatically go out to those families that have an IEP, but it's not limited to just those individuals or those families. So our first event that is coming up is, sorry, I'm a little disorganized. We had lots of theater stuff. I'm a theater mom, so come to the show. It's going to be good. But Monday, November 14th is going to be our first event. We were supposed to have something in October, but we had to push it back. So Monday, November 14th from 5:30 to 6:30 is going to be student services and special education meet and greet. So there'll be just a short presentation, and then we'll be able to talk to other professionals so parents and families can bring the kids and everything, can get together. And if they have questions for Michael Moran about IEPs or social emotional coaches, I think we have them slated to be there. And I think at least one of the school psychologists too. So as soon as I get approval, I will be sending it out, and you'll see it on short kilts. Included, hopefully. And that's pretty much all I have. Does anybody have any questions? The who, the what we are, and what's coming up? I think generally I covered it, but I don't know who's all informed on Voices sometimes. So if I ever don't include, like, it stands for Voices Offering and Inspiration for All Children's Educational Supports. So that's what we do. That's all I have.
Well, thank you. And if anyone does have any questions, I'm sure they can just reach out to you individually, right?
Yes, Erin Esrich and myself are the co-chairs this year. We co-chaired last year. And she was out of town a lot of this month, so I think that was part of the reason we pushed back our first event. So yeah, absolutely. I'm in the directory.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, we're kind of winding
Yeah.
down. Just kind of open the floor. Any old business that we want to attend to? Anything we need to go back to? Prior minutes or questions?
Okay. No? Anybody have any new business that we didn't get a chance to touch on? Okay. All right. It is 8:16. This is one of our quickest meetings. We are going to adjourn. Thank you so much for being on tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank
Nice
you.
job,
Bye-bye.
ladies.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks. Have a great night.